Hey, class. Let's go over what's going to be on your test. On your test, there's three types of solving. There's one with graphing, one with substitution, one with elimination. For each one, I'm going to do let's say a basic one and then a tough one. And I'll talk about the special situations at the end. So first off, we have graphing here. So graphing over here, we're always going to graph. I'll use colors to help guide it. Here you have y equals negative x plus 3, where m equals negative 1 over 1, and b equals 3. So in this situation, that tells me I'm going to go down and right, or up and left. In this case, I'm going to start at 3. So I'm going to start at positive 3, and this tells me I'm going to go down and right 1, 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 and upper left 1, and then make your line. Okay. And your second one, which is over here, let's go blue. Over here, where it's y equals 4x minus 2. In this situation, y equals 4x minus 2, it's going to be where m is 4 over 1 and b equals negative 2. That tells me I'm going to go up 4 right 1 or down 4 left 1. So starting at negative 2, I'm going to go up 4 right 1, up 4 right 1. I would fall off the graph, so I don't really need to graph it. Down 4 left 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. I would fall off the graph. I want to need it. But either way, what I really care about is not anything else but where they crisscross. So where they crisscross over here, which is going to be at 1, 2. 1 to the right, and then 2 up. So 1, 2. So because of that, that's my answer. To give a little context, this is how your test is going to be graded. I give you +1 for graphing the right slope, and +1 for starting on the right point. Over here, the same thing, +1, and then +1 for the right conclusion. So this will be a 5-point question. Over here, you have this scenario where you're graphing. In this scenario, you either could graph with intercepts, but it's kind of annoying. So why don't we make it into y equals mx plus b? So I need to do y equals mx plus b. So let me just rewrite this. So minus 2x, 3y equals negative 2x plus 6, divided by 3, y equals negative 2/3 x plus 6 divided by 3, 2. Which means I know my m is negative 2 over 3, which is down and right, or the opposite, up and left. And then my b is positive 2. So starting at 2, I go down 2, right 3, down 2, right 3, would fall off, up 2, left 3, 1, 2, 3, up 2, left 3 would fall off. Make your line over here. Do the same thing for the blue over here, or for the other one. 2 plus y equals negative 2x. Subtract 2. Y equals negative 2x minus 2. Where your m is negative 2 over 1. Your b is negative 2. So I'm going to go down 2. Negative 2 over 1 tells me down and right, or up and left. So down 2, right 1. Down 2, right 1 would fall off. Up 2, left 1. Up 2, left 1. Up 2, left 1. Up 2, left 1 would fall off. Here's my blue line. Again, I don't really care until I hit the crisscross. The rest is just bonus. So this is where they crisscross, which is 3 to the right, 4 up. So negative 3, 4. In this question, you get +1 for rewriting it correctly, and then the +1 for doing the slope correctly, +1 for doing the b correctly, rewriting correctly, plus 1 for slope, plus 1 for b. So this one will be a 7-point question. One thing I didn't put on this review page was if you have y equals 2, remember that is a horizontal line at y equals 2. If I said x equals -3, remember that is a vertical line at x equals -3. All right, next section is substitution. So substitution is when I plug in because one equals the other. In this case, the y equals the other y. So because they equal each other, I can set this for this y over here. So 5x plus 8 equals the original, which is over here, 3x plus 4. I move the smallest x over. So I got 2x plus 8 equals 4. Minus 8 minus 8. 2x equals -4. Divide by 2, divide by 2. X equals -2. So since x equals -2, I'm going to take that x equals -2 and plug it in either the top or bottom. I'll choose the top. It does not matter which one you plug it into. So y equals 3. And notice how my x becomes -2 plus 4. Y equals -6 plus 4. Y equals -2. So it says y equals -2 and x equals -2. The answer is -2, comma -2. For this question, I give 1 point for the correct substitution, 1 point for getting the correct x, 1 point for correct substitution, 1 point for x, 1 point for final answer. So it's a 5-point question. This one, we're going to solve. Since y is here and y is here, I'm going to substitute this y with this y using this equation. So on the top, it's going to say exactly the same. -3x minus 3, except the fact is the y will become -5x minus 17 equals 3. -3x, we're going to distribute the -3 to here. -3 times -5 is positive 15x. -3 times -17 is 4156. That doesn't make sense. 3451. So positive 51 equals 3. Combine like terms. 12x, notice we're going to combine them normally, no flipping symbols here, plus 51 equals 3. Minus 51 minus 51. 12x equals -48. Divided by 12, divided by 12. X equals -4. Take this -4, plug it back in. I'll plug it into the bottom one. The x is becoming -4, so -5 times -4 minus 17. Y equals positive 20 minus 17. Y equals positive 3. So your final answer is -4, comma -3. This one, I would say is a little harder to plug it in. So you get +1 for plugging it in, +2 for getting the final answer here, because it's a little bit harder to distribute, combine like terms, all that. Then +1 for plugging it back in, +1 for the y, +1 for the answer. So this would be a +6 question. All right, last one's elimination. So elimination, first you check if it's all lined up. Hey, it's all lined up. Now you check if anything match. In this case, 2y equals 2y. They're exactly the same. Notice it's not positive or negative, they're exactly the same. So then I'm going to subtract down. So 8 minus 7 is going to be 1x. 2 minus 2 is going to be 0. And 30 minus 24 is equals 6. We don't care about 0. So we got x equals 6. Hey, we got one of our answers. We're going to take that and plug it into one of the original ones. I'll plug it into the bottom. 7 times 6 plus 2y equals 24. 7 times 6 is going to be 42 plus 2y equals 24. Minus 42 on both sides. 2y equals 18. Divide by 2, y equals 9. So your final answer is x comma y, or actually, sorry, your final answer is 6 comma 9. This one, we first check if they're lined up. X's, Y's, equal sign, normal numbers, good. Now we check if the numbers match. The problem here, or coefficients match. 8 and negative 6 doesn't match. 14 and negative 7 doesn't match. So what we need to do is make them one in a match. So in this case, I can multiply the bottom by a negative 2. The reason I multiply the bottom by negative 2 is because what's going to occur is that the bottom will become positive 14. And I need it to be exactly the same. So negative 14 is not good enough. It has to become positive 14. So negative 6 times negative 2 is 12x. Negative 7 times negative 2 is positive 14y, which is perfect. They're the same. And negative 2 times negative 10 is 20. From there, we subtract down. So 8 minus 12. 8 minus 12, negative 4x. 14 minus 14, 0, which is perfect. 4 minus 20, negative 16. So I have negative 4x equals negative 16. Divided by negative 4, divided by negative 4. X equals 4. Take that x equals 4, plug it into either the top or the bottom. We could plug it into the bottom. I don't care which one you plug it into. Negative 6. That x is becoming 4 because I found it to be x. If it was y, I would replace the y. Minus 7y equals negative 10. Negative 24 minus 7y equals negative 10. Negative 7y, add 24 to both sides, is 14. Divided by negative 7, divided by negative 7, y equals negative 2. 4 comma negative 2. Okay. So that's a harder one where you have to multiply first. Reminder though, let's say if you have something like this. 3x plus 2y equals 10. Negative 3x plus 4y equals 12. I don't know if this will make a real answer. But in this scenario, if you look at here, this is negative and this is positive. They are not the same. So one thing you could do is multiply the bottom by negative 1. Or you can multiply the top by negative 1 to make this either negative 3 or make this a positive 3. Doesn't matter which one you do. But you have to make sure they're the same before you subtract. All right, and last thing is special case scenarios. Here's how special case scenarios work. If you graph and you have two lines that are parallel, that is a no solution because there's nowhere they will touch. A parallel line, by definition, are two lines that never touch. And since your answer is where you touch and they will never touch, that's a no solution. Another no solution is if all the variables disappear and you get like a 0 equals 7 or 2 equals negative 5 or 4 equals 3, something like this. This can never happen. 0 can never be 7. 2 can never be negative 5. 4 can never be 3. So that is a no solution. An all real solution in graphing, I will tell you right now, I'm not going to give you one in graphing because it doesn't really make sense. But it is basically that the first line and the second line overlap. So they kind of overlap each other. And because they overlap, when I say where do they crisscross, well, they're overlapping. So they crisscross everywhere. So that means they have all real, technically when we say real, all real number solutions, okay? But all real solutions, okay? If it is, you could also say infinite solutions. So either all real solutions or infinite solutions. On the other hand, if you get something that's 0 equals 0, 2 equals 2, -5 equals -5, in this situation, 0 always equals 0, 2 always equals 2, -5 always equals -5. So that would cause it to be also an all real solution. All right? All right, hope this helps. Have a wonderful time.